Have you ever felt like your body changed and what used to work just doesn't work anymore? Maybe your energy feels unpredictable and all over the place. Maybe deep sleep feels like a dream. And maybe your moods feel a little more, well, edgier than they used to. This is the You Being You podcast, a podcast for ambitious women who are done fighting their bodies and ready to trust themselves more with every birthday. Here we explore how your body is showing up, what your hormones might be amplifying, and how to respond differently with awareness, curiosity, and small aligned shifts. Because every stage of life requires new skills. And this one is no different. Your body isn't the problem, it's the amplifier. There is a way to navigate this stage with clarity instead of control, and I'll show you how. If you're ready to stop panicking when your body changes and start trusting yourself instead, you're in the right place. This is the You Being You podcast. Let's begin. One of the biggest mistakes that women make with their health is trying to coach today's body with yesterday's rules. I have been a runner since I was 14 years old, and I started cross-country running. And since then, I have been running off and on ever since. Running has really been a part of my life for decades. I've done one marathon. I've done tons of half marathons with a girlfriend of mine. We did destination marathons together. I've done 5Ks and 10Ks. I have so many 5Ks and 10K bibs in a file folder drawer. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe how many are there with all my times written on the back of it. I've run in a Santa suit. I've run in rain and shine. When my kids were little, I used to run in the local charity run here. And I used to run at 5:30 in the morning with my beautiful dog, Toby, rain or shine, minus 20, plus 40 degrees. It didn't matter. Cold winter days, hot summer days. He and I ran for 10 years together. And back when I first started running, when I was in grade 7, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, I actually had a coach, a real coach. Sure, he was a teacher in my school, but he was also a runner, and he was very, very good at coaching. And he knew how to get us started. And he didn't just throw me into hard running. He taught me something much smarter. He showed me how to start slow. And slowly, together as a group, we all added miles to our legs over time, gradually. And he was actually the first person to introduce me to interval training and later sprints. So interval training is kind of when you go fast and then you go slow and you ebb and flow back and forth between the two. And then later he took us to a track and he taught us how to actually do sprints around a track to make our legs be able to turn over more. And he really helped me build my endurance over time. And it worked. I actually placed really well. I remember being 8th overall in a race of about 100 girls for the city of Ottawa. So running became something my body knew, and I really, really loved it. And it's been a long love for me. I had to take time off in order to heal my thyroid because it was not possible for me to push my body and heal my body at the same time. So I had to take a break for a while over the last few years. But lately I've been noticing other runners on the road, and I drive by, I've been noticing runners, and I'm like, I'm feeling a pull to go back. Now I did try to go back about a year ago. I tried some sprints. I went out really hard. I pulled a hamstring. I just decided, my gosh, I couldn't do it at the time, but I thought now I feel it calling me again and I want to get back out there. So what did I do? So I got my gear on, I put my shoes on, I put my earbuds in, I put fast music on, and I started running. And it hurt so much. My legs hurt, my lungs felt like they were going to explode. And after about 25 minutes, I hobbled home and I had pushed my body through. And then later that day, I just felt hot and edgy and restless. And my nervous system, I could tell, was completely wired. I've done enough nervous system work to know my nervous system was feeling a little frazzled. And I was hungry well into the evening. I kept snacking and it wrecked my sleep that night. Like I was disjointed and not restful at all. And I knew what that meant. I knew that I had spiked my cortisol and triggered that whole hormonal ripple effect that I have shared with you in the past. And what's interesting is that actually makes sense physiologically. And when we suddenly push our bodies into intense exercise after a long break, the body treats that as a stress event. And studies on exercise physiology show that high-intensity training, as I mentioned earlier, can spike our cortisol. And that is our body's primary stress hormone. And especially if your system isn't conditioned for that level of load anymore. Okay, so let me repeat that. You can spike your cortisol if you push your system, your body, your metabolism, and it isn't conditioned for the new load. So the cortisol spike that I had later that evening, that's one of the biggest disruptors of sleep. My body wasn't failing me. It wasn't trying to be a jerk. It was doing what it was made to do. It was made to protect me, to put me into survival mode. And it was exactly how my body is designed to respond. So I was like, now what? If I want to run, what should I have done? How should I have done differently? And I was wondering what to do next when my son Samuel suggested I try the Nike running app. So I downloaded it. I thought, well, I had nothing to lose. So I downloaded it last week. And I looked at the options in the app when I opened it up, and I decided to go back to the beginning. Yeah, I was going to be a beginner runner. So I chose a 4-week beginner program and started with guiding runs. So I did exactly the same thing I did about a month ago. I put my gear on, I put my earbuds in, I put my shoes on, I put the app on, and in it said I could pick some music. And for some reason, it picked kind of quieter country music this time. I don't know why, but it did. Not that hard running music that I usually run with. And here's what the guided runner, my new coach in my ear, told me. He said, and this made me laugh, he goes, I want you to run twice this week. I was like, what, twice? And it was like, yes, not 5 times, not every day, just twice, and only for 20 minutes. And then he said something else. He said, I want you to run as easy as possible. It was such an easy run, so easy that it felt like I was actually walking. And my first thought was, this is ridiculous. I used to run marathons, half marathons, 8-kilometer runs at 5:30 in the morning. But up until that moment, last week, I had been trying to run as if I was still that runner, the marathoner, the 8K morning runner. But I'm not that person right now. And I was trying to run with my body today with yesterday's conditioning. And that's like pulling on a winter coat out of your closet in the spring. Sure, the coat worked in the wintertime, but spring is a different season. And if I pull on a winter coat, I'm going to be hot and uncomfortable. And it's not the winter coat's problem. It's because the coat was meant for a different season. And I was meant to listen to this new coach now in this season. And then something interesting happened. Guess what I did? I ran the full 20 minutes. No stopping, no run walks like I've had to do over the years. And when I finished, I actually felt absolutely amazing. My energy was steady and I was impressed. And I was really excited. I actually texted my son Samuel right away and said, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love this. And I kept telling other people about it. And it meant that I could continue to do this, that my nervous system wasn't wired. Not edgy, restless feelings this time. I didn't have that. I had no cortisol spike. That's what that meant. I didn't have any crazy hunger, and I slept like a baby that night. And the reason it worked so well wasn't because the program was the magic. It worked because the coach was training the runner I am today, not the runner I used to be. There's actually a principle it's the exercise science called progressive overload. And that's the idea that your body adapts best when we increase stress gradually. Too little challenge and the body doesn't grow. It's like we need to lift heavier weights sometimes, right? To make our body grow. Sometimes we need to push against our body, but too much of a challenge and the body goes into stress protection mode. It's when you hit the sweet spot. The body adapts beautifully. You get stronger muscles. You get better endurance. You get a more resilient nervous system. And that's exactly what the coach was guiding me back into. And it's what I help women build for themselves inside the Flourish Academy. It's a place to honor who you are, where your body is, how you show up in the world. It pushes lightly when it needs to. And then it helps you adapt to the shifts rather than reacting to stress. It gives them inside the Academy a clear path, a deeper sleep, happier moods, and an energized life. And that's exactly the exact trap that many women fall into. We're trying to coach the body that we have today with the rules that worked 10 years ago, or sometimes maybe even 20. We're trying to get back to the version of ourselves that we used to remember. But our bodies, they're not there anymore. And that's not failure. That's really reality because our bodies have changed, our hormones have shifted, stress loads are different on our body now, and sleep patterns are changing. Life is different. You are different. Trying to use old health rules on our current body is like trying to solve a puzzle with pieces from the wrong box. We can, make the puzzle and try and force the pieces into the puzzle and keep pushing them together, but they're never going to fit. Not because we're doing it wrong, but because we were never meant to work that way. And the body actually shows you with pieces that don't fit, right? I call them mindful metrics. I talk about mindful metrics inside the Secret podcast. They're like signals, little signals your body sends you when something isn't aligned anymore. And sometimes they are aligned. But what are the mindful metrics? They're the sleep, hunger, moods, energy, and cravings. Those 5 signals tell us a lot of what is going on in that beautiful body of yours. Because when a strategy you're using doesn't match the body you have today, those metrics start to shift and something pushes back. Sleep gets lighter, or it gets harder, it gets disjointed. You wake up at 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning. When you find yourself worrying and ruminating at night, your hunger cues change, right? Often day to day. One day your appetite's fine and satisfied, and the other days you can't stop snacking. Your energy crashes, new cravings show up, and moods get shorter and more anxious or more irritable when things are out of balance. And that's exactly what happened when I tried to run like I used to. My sleep got wrecked. My nervous system was fried. It was frazzled and wired. My hunger went through the roof, my energy dropped, and my moods, they got cranky. Those were the signals telling me something important, that the puzzle pieces weren't fitting anymore. And that's exactly why women come into my world, because the real work isn't forcing our body back into who we were. It's learning how to coach the body we have today, listening to her signals, following the breadcrumbs, understanding what the symptoms are actually trying to tell you. Because once you stop trying to push your body back into the past, everything starts to make sense. Your body stops feeling like a problem. It actually starts to become your actual guide on this journey. And if you want more guidance, join me in the Stop Blaming Your Body workshop. I'll share the link to sign up in the show notes. It's where you're going to uncover what your body is actually trying to tell you when nothing seems to be working. Because remember, your body has the answers, and it starts with you being you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the You Being You podcast. If something resonated, share it with a woman who might need to hear it. And if you're loving the show, leaving a review helps more women stop fighting their bodies and start working with themselves instead. If you're ready to become a woman who feels steady in her body and trusts herself more with every birthday, the Flourish Academy is where this transformation happens. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting yourself and keep being you.